So now we come to Marko. Uh, Rana, is he online? Is he ready?
Yes,
Okay.
I'm online
So
if you can hear me.
hi, Marko. So let me introduce you, and then you can continue.
Yeah.
So Marko is from Finland, and Marko is a chief procurement officer out of Finland, and he's uh, heading the company ELTEL Networks. They're pronounced correct. Yeah. So Marko is going to give you now a real example of how he saw in his company and in his previous roles as well, the opportunity for digitization of for data and how he prioritized that to transform or impact his organization. So I thank you, Marko, for your participation and look forward to hearing from you now. Thank you.
Thanks. I will share my screen, so let me know that you will see it. Just a sec. Okay, do you see my screen? Okay, I'm not hearing anything from you, so I assume that you are seeing it. Yeah, so
Yes, they see your screen. Sorry. Yeah,
that's
go ahead.
that's good. So I'm going to talk about digital roadmap for procurement, and this is my real case, a real life example what I did. So I started at my current position in January 2019 at ELTEL Networks. I was one of the tasks that was given to me was to modernize and digitize the procurement, and I was new in the company, so I really didn't know where to start and what is more important than the other. And it's very easy to have hundreds of slides uh, and get a little bit overwhelmed about the information, where should we start. So I needed something simple and easy for me to understand. So what I did, I first took the procurement itself and divided in four phases. So we have basic spend management, supply management, procurement, and contract management. So these itself, they don't have yet anything to do with digitalization, but these are the basic elements of procurement. Then I thought, for each of these, what are the elements that we have at ELTEL? So I went through the spend management and realized that there needs to be something to analyze the spend. There needs to be something to classify spend, where we are spending and what, and also the savings, of course, when we are talking about procurement. For the supplier management part, I went through regulatory obligations. In Finland, it means that as we are buying a lot of subcontracting, we are actually responsible that our supplier has paid their taxes, for example. So it means that we are getting sanctions if we are using such a supplier that they haven't done everything by the book. So it's extremely important in Finland. Then, of course, how to classify supplier, where's the supplier database, how to perform, how to analyze their perform, how to have the SLA, KPIs, etc. And dashboard, what is the easiest way to see how the suppliers are performing, what is the spend for them, and etc. And what comes to the procurement side, there was, of course, the e-sourcing and e-purchasing parts, then the invoicing, how the invoicing is handled, and then material flow. And material flow was here included because at ELTEL, also the warehouses and warehouse processes are part of purchasing and procurement organization. And the last but not least part was the contract management. Again, how to analyze the contracts that we have, where's the database, where the contracts are stored, and how the signature process would be there. So again, these are basic elements of each of these four phases or four elements. And then I started to look what we have as a tools or software, what information we will have, and we have already, and what we don't have, which was actually more important. So spend management, for the analysis part, yes, we used our business intelligence tools and ERP. We got the euros per supplier, euros per our business lines, teams, cost centers, and of course the total euros that we are spending. So we have that information. We got all the payment information, meaning that what is the realized payment sequence versus the contracted, and see that we are actually paying according on contracts, meaning that we are not paying too early, because that's not good either. And there was also the invoice data that we got it from there. So the analysis part was pretty okay, and for our purposes. So I was happy with that. Of course, there could be more what comes to the spend for the analysis part, but for us it was enough. What came to the classification and savings part, I realized that there isn't anything. So no tool, nothing for the classification, and same goes for the savings. Savings weren't followed at all. Okay. And then supplier management, same thing. Regulatory obligations, we have, this is external service in Finland, this tilaajavastu.fi. It means that from there we can check that supply is basically in green, and we can use them without any extra worries that they haven't done their legal obligations. What comes to supplier classification? No, nothing. So no tool for that. There was some information in ERP, but very little. Database, so where the supply information was stored. So we had ERP system. There was the basic info, so there was the supplier names, addresses, etc. But then there was a lot of information like agreements which were missing. In some cases, there were something about the agreements, but very little. Then the PO data, nothing. Perform analysis, nothing. No tool, no follow-up, nothing. Dashboard, never heard. So again, nothing there. Okay, then went to the procurement side. Material flow, okay, there was something followed in the ERP, but it was very little, and we realized that that's not enough. Invoicing part was okay. Invoicing was done in ERP, it was e-invoicing, was easy to follow in the BI system, so that was okay. E-purchasing, yes, we did send some purchase orders through our ERP system for certain suppliers, but very little. PO rate was less than imagined, that it's basically nothing. But we did have internal webshop for indirect material, and that was excellent. That was very good tool. So there was something for e-purchasing. And what comes to the e-sourcing side, again, nothing. No tool, nothing there. Contract management, it was the part of my analysis. So we didn't have any tool for contract analysis. We didn't have database. Yes, there was something in the ERP, but very little. We didn't have anything for our signature process. So basically what you are seeing now, this was our as-is analysis. The green ones, they were okay. Light greens, there was something. That's at least a good start. Red ones, that there isn't anything for them. What happened next is that I went through with our business lines and we discussed a lot what are the things that they will see that would add value for them. So that how to add value for the customers of purchasing organization, and our customers are our internal business lines and people in the company. And we realized that contract management is something that we have to start. We don't have anything there. So we started with the database. as I said earlier, I started in January 2019 at ELTEL. So in spring, it was in May 2019, we implemented online agreement archive. So now it was easy to store the agreements in there, but it was also the business lines for them. It was easy to see, okay, we can use this supplier. There's a contract with them. There's an agreement. That's totally okay. So, and also what is agreed there. So it was very valuable for them. Next thing that we did was the signature process. So we implemented in autumn 2019 e-signature tool. So actually Adobe Sign was we did select, and that was again at ELTEL in Finland. We are present in 70 locations all over the Finland. So before that, it meant that when you needed to sign something, basically what you did is that you print the document, you sign it, you scan it, and you send it for the next one by email. And he or she does the same again. So we needed something there. So this was the second that we implemented. So for these two things, we pretty much covered the contract-wise. Of course, there's the analysis part, but we didn't consider it as the most important thing. Yes, we need the information for the procurement organization, but it's not the most added value for our customers. So we started with database and signature process, and those we did in 2019. The next one was the dashboard. So in 2020, we implemented dashboard. So there was easy to follow spend, total spend, supplier spend, all the things that we had in ERP. So basically everything here, we got it for the dashboard. We got here from the basic information. And then we started to have links to database here. So when you went to the dashboard, you can see that, okay, there is a supplier. We can see it. We have a link to the agreement, so easy to follow, easy to see. And again, this was something that our business lines considered extremely important for them, and it will help their life. So that was created and implemented in 2020. And in 2020, we also started to check our e-purchasing. So we had the internal website for indirect material, but it wasn't maybe the best possible system for our installation material, so that the ones that we are using for our end customers. And in 2020, we started to look for e-purchasing tool. We wanted to have very simple, very easy. I think was earlier mentioned that basically system that you don't need a training. And then we found one, and the system in 2021 we started to create this, or the implementation of the system, testing everything, and actually the e-purchasing tool was now implemented in May this year. So actually that whole process took I would say 1.5 years from the part that we started to search something what is suitable for us until the point that we have implemented it. Then the next part was the database, so the supplier management. So how do we get the information for the supplier? How do we know that what is the level that they are performing? So how do we follow them, and how we have the SLAs, KPIs? We used then the dashboard for that. So in the end, in the dashboard, you can see the SLA figures, you can see the KPI figures. It's easy to see that supply is performing very well, and we are spending more for them. That's good. That everything is green. But also to see that, okay, we are buying a lot of more from one supplier, but they are performing worse. So it means that there's something going on. And then what we need still is the external data, meaning that when we can have the financial data of the supplier from some external source, so then we have actually in the same dashboard, we know that how much we are spending for one supplier, how they are performing. So the SLAs are green, yellow, red, and we see that how the supplier is actually performing as a financial way. So meaning that if we are spending a lot of more on supplier, but their total turnover or profit is going down, we should get warnings. But now everything is not okay. We should check that, is the supply critical for us? Is it something that actually we should take actions? Maybe move some spend from that supplier to another one, just to mitigate our risk that if the supply is performing as a financial way worse and worse, and if it's bankrupted, what happens if it's a critical supplier for us? Then we are in a problem. So that is extremely important, and that's the data that we need from there. And that was also started in 2021. And then the last that we started from here was the material flow. So we needed a real warehouse management system, and the implementation of that was actually the first part was in summer 21, and then we have enhanced the performance of the system ever since, and now it's daily base use and business as usual. Again, when our people, our technicians, they need to know that we have some material in our warehouse. They don't have to buy it. Again, there will come savings for that, of course. And it's easy to see, easy to follow, and also see where in the warehouse the system or the material is. So that was something that we thought that in our biggest warehouses we need that kind of system, and that was implemented. So this is actually what I was going to present, and I did present. So I thought that this was simple enough, at least for me, to realize what is needed, what is not needed in this phase, and how to prioritize from different elements, that what is more important, and again, what will add value for our customer of the procurement most. And that's why these are the orders. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 that we did. The next steps that we will have will be in the savings part. So we are using Excel for that, but we are going to have it in some tool. Let's see how it will go. We have talked about e-sourcing, but that's not really big issue for us, at least currently. Then the performance analysis, we will add it to the dashboard. We will have more information from the supplier even, and how they are performing. And then classification, most probably that will be connected to our ERP, and then we will see. And once we have, for example, the classification, then it helps our spend management and spend analysis. So this slide in this, it's quite a busy slide, but when we are taking step by step, you can see how I did it and how I found that was quite sufficient process for me. So that was my short, quite fast presentation about the roadmap which I created.
Thank you, Marko. You can hear me?
Yes, I can.
Thank you very much for the presentation. I think, to be honest, for me, I have in my career not seen a slide like that before. It does give a lot of clarity on how you're doing, and how you set your path for digital procurement and also what you plan to do next. For me, it was very clear, and I think for the class as well, I can say that. And thank you so much for actually taking out time on a Finnish holiday. You have a national holiday in Finland today. So yeah, he's especially taken out time for us. So thank you so much for that. Thank you for the insight. Yeah, the class.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you
Class
all.
is clapping for you. Thank you so much for your time. Yeah, and stay tuned. And then, yeah, you can connect with Marko also later on offline or whenever you like. So thank you, Marko, once again.